So, trailer reactions are good, right?
Yeah.
They're okay. Movie reviews. You know, good, fine, helps you understand, should I go watch this, shouldn't I watch this? First looks, yeah, good, yeah, alright. But, do you know what really gets these guys going?
I don't know.
A good old-fashioned top 5 list.
We have a top 5?
We have a top 5 list.
What is our top 5 about, Ravi?
So, some people do, you know, top 5 movies of the year.
Yeah.
Some people do top 5 songs of the year.
Yes.
Every now and again, top 3 action scenes. We thought we'd change it up a little bit, do something a little bit more interesting, and draw on a combined some years of watching Indian cinema, and draw up a list of the top 5 super villains or bad guys, however you want to look at it, in Indian cinema history. Okay.
That sounds like a lot of research.
Yes, and we didn't do much of it, but what we do have is a Hamza.
What is a Hamza?
A Hamza, there are a few of them dotted around the world, but this specific one was found in the wild, completely found in the wild, and luckily is under the protection of the local Conservation of Hamza Species Act. So, we hooked up with him, and he came up with, after tons and tons of research, he doesn't ever leave his Hamza cave, and he found 5 supervillains that we then went and watched the films of, and thought, damn, these are awesome, we need to make a list.
Talking about a producer, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so guys, we've got 5 villains that we did an insane amount of research on to see where they will fit within our bracket of bad guys, crazy mad-ass characters. So, what comes in at number 5? Who is this person?
Well done, Jagmohan.
Thank you, sir. तुम लोगों को हारना ही था और मुझको जीतना ही था.
5. Gulban Shankar Munda, 1980.
1980, from the film Shan. He played the character
Shakal.
Shakal, right. Okay, now guys, the reason why Shakal came in our top 5 and listed itself at number 5 is because at that time we felt that Bollywood was being extremely creative.
Yes, you could almost call it Bondywood.
Yes, and yes, it was creative to an extent, but we all have our Bond villains, and I like to believe and I like to think that this character was kind of molded off that particular Bond villain, but Gulban Khan really threw his own twist on that character, bringing him to life, especially in a particular scene that we saw that we both freaked out on.
Yeah, like, so the scene is, he basically has this round table sitting in front of him, and behind him is what seems to be a super large tank which has sharks in it. And these 4 guys walk in, and they all sit on this round table, and you very, very quickly start to see just how menacing Shakal actually is.
Yes.
And so, what that led me to the conclusion of is A, I want a really big fish tank, B, I need a really big round table, and C, cinematography and like direction in the 80s was actually a lot cooler than like I remember in my mind's eye.
Right.
So there's that shot where he's basically choosing and tormenting the 4 guys as to which one he's gonna get rid of next.
Right.
And the camera shot is awesome because it's of the people and it's going around, and you can see Shakal in the background and he's just watching them go by and he's just dropping little one-liners in to get them more and more scared. And it's just the perfect Bond villain style scene, and it just makes him out to be this super menacing evil guy that's ruthless.
जब तक जिंदा रहोगे तब तक सुनाई देगी राणा मुझे तुम्हारा ये थप्पड़ भूलेगा नहीं.
At at number 4, Ravi, it's getting super tight. It's getting pretty crazy now. We're breaking down the craziest bad guys of Bollywood cinema.
Number 4 is Anupam Kher in Cardamom.
Right, so guys, now Dr. Dan is the bad guy that we are talking about here. A very crazy, insane, menacing character. And the scene that sort of made us feel that this character really truly needs to be in our number 4 slot is when Dan is in his prison cell and you've got a general walking up to his gate. And what ends up happening is that he walks in and Dan looks at him and he gets slapped right across the face. Now the crazy thing about this scene is it really friggin', you feel that slap. You feel that slap because it's a massive echo throughout the whole of the prison. And there's a line that Dan says, which is, you'll hear this slap for the rest of your life. Although you hit me, you will hear it for the rest of your life. And from there, if you are a fan of the movie 1986, you know what he does straight after that.
Dr. Dan को आज पहली बार किसी ने थप्पड़ मारा है. First time. इस थप्पड़ की गूंज सुनी तुमने?
Yeah, this scene has like more tension than you can cut through. It's awesome because the music starts to build, it's high tempo music, he's walking along, the panning shot, and then he goes in, there's not even like a second, it's just straight away. And then there's just a slow, and then you know, oh shit, you just slapped the Undertaker. And that's a problem. And it just sets him up as like, he's not just a bad guy that sits behind a chair. This guy has no fear and he knows how powerful he is, and even when what looks like the chief of police tries to have him up, there is no question that Dr. Dong is going to stand there, take it, and then wage war on your soul.
Yeah, the reason why Dan finally dropped in at number 4, guys, is because he really stands by what he's gonna do. Exactly what he says, he does.
बहुत इंतजार कराया प्रभु, आंखें तरस गई थी.
3. The cool thing about number 3 is the moment it hit our desk, which happens to be basically a phone. The moment it hit our phones and we saw a potential nominee was Concha Tina from Agnipath, both of us looked at each other and went, ding! Because we did a trailer reaction to this.
Yes.
And we then went and watched the film way back, and apart from Sanjay Dutt's performance, we kind of forgot about it. It was a good film, but that performance really stood out. And then when this came up and that landed on our desk, it was like, holy crap, makes perfect sense, what an awesome bad guy.
Now, one of the things that really grabbed us with Sanjay Dutt's performance in Agnipath is his build, his character, the way he adapts to that bad guy, especially with his entrance that he makes back into the village, sort of dragging himself, almost as if that he's not actually human. It almost comes across that there's some demonic entity within him. But beyond that, he does an awesome job of convincing the people within the village to aid with him, and his mind games and the manipulation that takes form throughout the whole film is absolutely amazing. So that's why he comes in at number 3.
Mogambo.
2.
Ravi, this is really heating up now.
Oh,
yes.
Heating up.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes, and I'm not sure if this should have been number 2 or number 1.
Oh, well, I still think there's a debate this should be number 1, because if you're going menacing, you just got to go with the whole look. You got to have that super evil bad guy look. You got to have those evil bad guy traits, like having a big ass ring on every single finger, and you got to have henchmen. You got to have henchmen that will do anything for you whilst you crack your evil plan. So, if you've got to have all of those things, you've got to be in Mr. India.
You have to indeed be Mogambo.
Mogambo.
जिसके इस्तेमाल करने से आदमी दिखाई ना दे, इनविजिबल हो जाए.
Now, what was it, Ravi, that kind of drew you into pinning down that he should be at number 2?
Well, I still think that there's a chance he should be number 1. But when I think of like supervillains, right, I think you got to have the look, you've got to have the lair, you've got to have your home base cave that the good guy has to break into and get to you. And you've got to have an evil genius plan to take over the entire world. Like, if those things aren't there, you're just a really good bad guy. He is a supervillain. Mogambo has the most ridiculous clothing ever, the most ridiculous hair ever, and then, well, the most ridiculous rings ever. And then there's the bit which pushes him over the edge. So, most supervillains, they'll kill the good guys. They'll be okay with collateral damage to other civilians as they're cracking their evil plan. People that disappoint them, be warned, they will be ended. Mogambo takes it a step further. Just for his own satisfaction, he sits there on his chair, running his fingers across his giant ball of glowing joy, and summons 3 of his soldiers. Now you think, okay, what are they going to do? Are they going to kill, you know, are they going to go out and do a mission for him? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? And he just says, you, in. And they all jump in one by one into a pit of molten lava maybe, or just water, or whatever it is, just molten chemical. And you see their faces melt off, and their skulls exposed, and they die. Before they do it, they all say, "Hail Mogambo!"
Yes, right.
And his closing line behind all of this is, "Mogambo is pleased."
Yeah. Now, guys, Imresh Puri, throughout his history, he's always mainly played the bad guy role. And with this particular character, Mogambo, that he sort of transformed into, he did such an amazing job. If you look at his performance throughout the whole film, Imresh Puri is an amazing actor, but throughout this whole film, you actually feel like this is somebody that you don't ever want to meet. His eyes say it all, his voice says it all, his characteristic, his body language is so powerful.
Yeah.
So guys, that is why he comes in at our number 2 spot. You know, the biggest, the baddest, the most menacing bad guy of Bollywood cinema of all time is clearly Gabbar Singh, Amjad Khan, from the film Sholay, which is 1975. There you go.
So, the thing that, apart from all of his dialogue, because the dialogue is what kills it, right? Goes in, he's evil, he's heinous, he has no sense of consequence. It goes into just villages and just terrorizes people with his dialogue. They know how dangerous he is, but he has these great monologues throughout the film. And the other thing that really gets me about this is where the film is set. Where it's all kind of villages and not rural, but you know, it's the outskirts. It's not, you know, metropolitan cities, and that's what almost makes it even more menacing and makes him even more menacing, because things happen out there and you don't know. Like, it's not all over the news. It's just evil shit happens out in the wilderness, and they really capitalised on that in the film, and it elevated him with his monologues onto a level that he didn't need props. He didn't need like rings and all that kind of stuff. It was just him and his character, and that drove him home as, for us, the biggest and baddest villain in Bollywood cinema history.
जब बच्चा रात को रोता है, तो माँ कहती है बेटे सो जा नहीं तो गब्बर सिंह आ जाएगा.
Now, the thing about Amjad Khan is, when he plays Gabbar Singh, is that he comes across as somebody who's not fully all there. And at the same time, he comes also across as he's slightly a bit drunk as well. He combines those two so well to what you said earlier on. You know, he doesn't really need to act. he just talks in a certain way that makes you feel slightly uneasy from within, and to the point you just want to kind of give in to his demand. Gabbar! The scene that really stands out, which is kitni goliyan hai, like in his gun. That line has carried itself throughout time. From 75 to this present day, films still use that line. That we saw a freaking music video on Gabbar Singh, and it goes to show that although you've got some crazy bad guys within Bollywood history, Bollywood cinema, this is the one that resonates with anyone and everyone that knows anything about Bollywood.
And for that, Gabbar Singh, Sholay, Amjad Khan, #1.
Guys, did you agree with us? Did you disagree with us? We want to hear back from you. Who are your all-time favorite bad guys of Bollywood cinema? Put it down in the comment section. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, a like, a share, and also do not forget to join us on Twitter, and more importantly, Ravi. If they enjoyed this segment, what do they need to do?
You should all subscribe.
There you go.